Good afternoon. I'm Gloria Nelson with TUG, and we're so glad to have you join us today for our TUG Connects 365 programming. Now, as you settle in and get ready for the start of today's webinar, let me give a brief introduction to TUG, theusergroup.org, for both our current members and those of you who have not yet joined TUG and represent organizations of Infor software users in the distribution market. Now, we've all heard that phrase that knowledge is power, and I can say today with the utmost confidence that you'll be waking up tomorrow with a little more of both. So TUG webinars, online forums, and member events facilitate the timely exchange of ideas and information to help you work smarter and with more confidence. And no matter how you slice it, that's a powerful combination too. If you're currently a member, it pays to get even more involved. And if you're not, please visit our website to discover why 2,500 heads are better than one to help you be the best at what you do. Our membership continues to pump with numbers. Before you get started, let me touch base on a few housekeeping announcements. Buckle up for about 45 minutes today of content. We're going to have two separate presentations, and then we're going to have Q&A with each one of our presenters and collective Q&A at the conclusion. So open your toolbar up to the Q&A bubble. That's where we're going to have you place questions. And to make sure that we get the question to the right individual, when we get to the combined questions, please make sure that you type the name of either the company or first name of our presenters to make sure that we get that question posed to the right individual. So chat amongst yourselves too. I'll be monitoring that as well. Sometimes people will contribute additional information about how they found the product to work even better and asking about any updates, nuances, etc. So make sure that you jump in and communicate with your peers there as well. Now, regarding intellectual property, you're invited to take screenshots and also copy and paste chat to help you in your day-to-day performance. So without any further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome both Ken Mostello, Expertek CEO and co-founder, and Matt Petty from Tridex Systems, their president. They're here to share how their software solutions will enhance your ERP that you're using. So first up is Expertek. So Ken, I'm going to say go ahead and take it away.
Okay, well, thank you, Gloria. Now, hopefully you are seeing my screen. So, well, good afternoon, everybody. And for those of you on the West Coast, good morning. Again, I'm Ken Mostello. I'm the president and co-founder of Expertek Systems. And what I'm going to do is just spend the next few minutes kind of telling everybody what we're about, what we do. And it's going to be very high level, but just to at least give you a sense of the kinds of solutions we offer to the Infor community. Okay, and I apologize. I'm still a little new to the video conferencing with PowerPoint, so forgive me. Anyway, just a little bit of history on the company. We were founded back in 1992, so we're going on nearly 30 years of business. And that whole time, our business has been based on one concept, which is providing IT solutions to wholesale distributors. That is what we do. It's the only thing we do. And we believe, it's been our belief that really our mission is to provide quality IT solutions to make distributors better operating companies, make them more efficient, more productive, and help them grow their sales. Our history with the SX.e and CloudSuite product lines now goes back about 24 years to the mid to late 1990s. So we've been, involved with that product for a long time. And I should mention, we are both an Infor channel partner and an Infor solutions partner. Now, a channel partner, you probably all know, is a Infor partner that sells and services and supports their product. But in addition to that, we are also a solution partner, which means that we are recognized as a third-party company that develops applications that are suitable as add-ons to the Infor product suite. And that is really, these days, probably as important or maybe more important than anything else that we do. And I say that really for one specific reason. Our goal is really to help to build out the product ecosystem for Infor distribution. That's what we're all about. That's what we're committed to doing. And we consider ourselves to be, one of the trailblazers on helping to develop and cultivate that ecosystem. So let's spend a minute and just talk about what we have to offer in the way of solutions to the Infor distribution community. And you can really visualize what we offer with this little schematic here. And you'll notice up top here, I have sales productivity, e-commerce integration, shipping and logistics, and service and warranty. This one, I should mention, is a 2022 solution, not one that is available today. But all of these things, with minor exception, sit on top of our development environment, which right now we call CSD Workbench. And we use the tools that are in here to engineer the connectivity and applications that are part of these solutions. This, of course, in turn works with CloudSuite for distribution. It'll also work. We also work with a lot of the older versions of on-premise SX.e. So that is the way everything we have is engineered today. And specifically for those of you who are, interested, okay, what do you have available in the way of product? First and foremost, we have our shipping solution, which is Starship. We are integrators. We're not the developers of the shipping system. Obviously, that's a whole business unto itself. But we've been offering this integration going back since 2005. We have a mobile application for ordering and VMI in the field called Field Office. Infor reps this application themselves. Let's not lose that. And for those of you who need e-commerce solutions, we have integration with Channel Advisor, which provides connectivity to the e-marketplaces out there, like Amazon. And we also, for those who need their own website, we have an integration with Adobe Commerce, which formerly was known as Magento. And for companies out there that receive quotes and orders through auto quotes, we have an integration for that. And coming in the first quarter of next year, we have an integration with Service Bench and Service Power for service and warranty and field service. So those are just some of the add-on applications we can offer to the Infor community. Now, just to go into a little more depth on these, so let's talk about, I mentioned sales productivity. Field Office is our mobile app for ordering in the field. It runs on an Apple iPad. It's native. It not only can be used by a salesperson, but it also works for showroom applications, route sales, and more now, vendor managed inventory. We are now probably seeing most of the activity we get with that product related to vendor managed inventory, and really happy to see that. And the other sales productivity tool, of course, is auto quotes, which we wrote the integration for and have numerous clients today using that. And if you're in industries like food service supply, auto quotes, you kind of live and die with that product. So let's spend a minute and talk about what underlies the product suite that we have, CSD Workbench. One of the things that we realized early on in our development of integrations was that you really had a lot of common problems you were solving every time you wrote an application, an extension, or did any kind of work to tie into the CloudSuite and version 11 products that Infor provides. So we set out early on to build a set of productivity tools to make that whole process a lot more productive and efficient. So what we did was really package up a lot of the common things that you need to solve common problems. For example, interfacing with the service level in CloudSuite is complex if you have to redo it every time. We've developed tools that allow you to access the service interface into CloudSuite. We have a data storage facility because chances are most of the extensions you're building need to put data somewhere. Uh, the I think what we have discovered in doing this is a couple of things, and I should also mention security is also a big part of this, improving security and also adding in tools to simplify the use of some of the APIs that are built into the ERP application. But I think what we have found by doing this is it's reduced certainly the programmer onboarding time that we have internally. And it also enforces good practices because it gets everybody building code that kind of follows the same standards. So that's just a little bit about our workbench. And with that, I'm going to go back to finishing some discussion on the applications. So I mentioned e-commerce. We're integrated with Magento, which is really a best of breed product, now known as Adobe Commerce. I mean, there are literally thousands of installations of this product out there. And what's really good is if you need real B2B type functionality, the enterprise version of Adobe Commerce really supports that and supports it very well. And we built a really tight, deep integration so that that is a option for Infor users. Channel Advisor, I'm always amazed every time I talk to an Infor account. A lot of them already use Channel Advisor unintegrated. We built the integration for it. Channel Advisor gives you connectivity to nearly 100 e-commerce marketplaces that are out there, including Amazon, eBay, Walmart, even Shopify if you want your own site. Wayfair, they're all available through Channel Advisor. And the beauty of it is it's one common integration point for us. You don't have to reinvent your integrations every time you want to add a site. And they give you enormous visibility into how your marketplaces are performing. There's a lot of business intelligence there, as well as tools to help you direct advertising spend and manage your data on all of those sites. Really useful stuff. I mentioned Starship earlier. Starship is a absolutely phenomenal shipping system. Supports dozens of carriers and freight, both parcel and freight. One of the things we've always realized is nearly everybody needs one of these. Very few companies don't use some parcel or freight shipping. And today, there are nearly 100 SX.e and CloudSuite accounts out there using our integration with Starship. Great product. We've been working with them now. It's going on close to 16 years, and the product just gets better all the time. Can't say enough about it. And one of the things that we've added recently, which is quite useful, is we now have rate shopping for order entry. So you can actually quote rate shopping intelligently. And we also extend that out as an API so that if you want to tie in your e-commerce solution to that, that's also doable. And this is a future, but I'm going to put it up here. There are a lot of people out there that are looking for solutions for service and warranty and field service and Service Bench and Service Power provide those kinds of that kind of functionality. And we are rolling out an integration to those two products, which should become available in Q1 of the new year. And there already are 3 clients committed to this, and a 4th, I understand, is on the way. So that's going to be, I think, a very valuable tool for and one of the things that we have come to understand is that when you have built really some baseline integrations, the others require a lot of the similar components and similar functionality, so that we have actually been able to tie all of this together very neatly and use a lot of common components to build out these integrations. So, if you're looking for integrations, that's probably, would be us. And with that, I will turn it back to you, Gloria. take any questions or whatever.
Thank you, Ken. We did have a question populate, and the question is, how is it that you're able to support so many varied programs?
Yeah, it looks like we do a lot, right? The answer is, first of all, most of our offerings are integrations, not the end application. Okay, so we're not writing shipping software specifically or e-commerce software. What we're building is the connectivity. And for that, I think we're very well positioned to do that because we've been working with the Infor product line now for almost 25 years. So we really know how to do those integrations, and we do them really the way Infor intended them to be. And fortunately, what I can say is I think one of the things our clients come to realize is they get a very rich integration because that's really where we're oriented, and they get to work with it. And we get to basically do what we do best, and we get to tie in a product that does what it does best.
Sounds like a great fit to me for Infor distribution users. One of the things I wanted to ask you, we didn't have anything else populate thus far, is could you please be so kind as to share with us what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yes. Okay. Do we not have? Yes, here we go. Okay. Important last slide here. Okay. Yeah, so this would be my contact information. You can email me. If you forget my name, you can just do sales@expertek.com. Those end up going to me too. And for anyone who wants to pick up the phone, my number's there. And you can get me through the switchboard too. So love to hear from you folks. If you got questions, happy to hear, happy to field whatever questions you have.
And Ken, I took the liberty of dropping in your company website into the chat window, as well as your sales@expertek.com address as well. So it's a quick grab for anybody. So if anybody wants to go ahead and snatch that, now's the time to do it from your chat window. And Ken, thank you for your portion of the presentation. I know you're going to hang around with us because we're going to come back for a collective final Q&A. So
and I want what Matt has to say too.
Yes, I'm going to invite Matt to jump on camera, and Ken, you can go ahead and take a visual break now.
I will disappear.
There we go. Gloria, how's that look?
You look fabulous.
Great. That's the biggest part of my worries today was not meeting your expectations. So thanks for that introduction. Thanks also to everybody out there that's joining today. And also thanks to Ken Mostello. Ken and I go back 20 plus years when I worked with the original NextTrend technology and also Infor. And I've gotten to know Ken and his group over those years, and they do a wonderful job at Expertek. And I would suggest to all of you out there, take a look at what they have to offer. He's a great partner. Personally, he's a good friend, and all of his people there. So again, Ken, thanks for that. And I think along those same lines, I would add that for all of you out there that use Infor products, take a look into the ecosystem that is the partner channel. There's great resources there. Infor has done some things organizationally, I think, to help with that. But take advantage of that ecosystem and also what TUG brings to the table, so that you guys have different options and can get to meet more people that have been around this world for so many years. So Gloria, again, thank you for having us on today. I'm Matt Petty. I'm the president of Tridex Systems. Like I said, I've been in this ecosystem since the mid-90s, formerly with NextTrend Technology, then Infor, and then Tridex. And as we will go through this presentation today, you will learn a little bit about Tridex. Some of you probably already know us and have met us before and worked with us today. And then hopefully we can build on that for the ones that aren't very familiar with us after this, if you have any more questions or would like to learn more about us. But more so around Tridex, the business has been around for a long time. We actually, when we were at NextTrend, we started the Tridex business as a hardware offshoot of NextTrend. And that business has continued with Tim Watson today being the owner. We have offices all over the country. We have upwards of 30 full-time employees and a handful of contract employees. So the reason I bring that up is that we have the size and scale to help you guys, and we're in every time zone. And that's a big, I think, value proposition when you look at these businesses. Where are they located? Where are their people? And also the average tenure of our people is phenomenal. I think this thing now has 5 or 1,000 years of experience or something along the lines with SX.e and Web UI and CSD and all the other Infor distribution products that are out there. As an Infor Alliance partner, we don't resell software. We align with Infor around CSD implementations and also on-prem implementations. We are the Infor service and rental implementation integrator of choice and certified to do that, and have started working with Infor closely on a number of those implementations around Infor service and rental, which used to be CloudSuite Field Service, which used to be service warranty back in the day, et cetera, et cetera. And along with that as well, we do development services subcontracted by Infor, but also direct with our customers around the CSD product, Web UI product, and the Infor OS technology stack. As many of you know, or as many of you have today, you also have a product called Birst. Some of you have the Birst for distribution analytics. Others have the enterprise version. We work with that along with the Coleman AI, which is a process and a product that continues to mature and grow out and has great upside. And so we're learning as fast as we can about Coleman and AI with Infor and have access to that system. And then along with the Infor OS technology stack, you get things like Ion, Mingle, the APIs, and Mongoose. Also, one of the areas that we've started to cover and have had a lot of experience with over the years, but there's a big change coming, is around EDI for CSD. And so those just as a snapshot of what, as an alliance partner, we work on closely and we focus on to bring value to our customers every day. The other thing about us that we made a decision to do is we have a fully implemented CloudSuite solution. So we pay the fee, we run it in our business, and then we have the edge products like Birst, TWL, Infor Service Management, et cetera, running within our tenants. And so really what that also does is it gives us a day in the life of what you're dealing with. We're on the tenant. We're dealing with printing, we're dealing with IDM, we're dealing with Birst. So it gives us a look and feel every day as to what you guys deal with as well. And so we decided to invest in that and make that a part of our business. Some of the other things that we do as a legacy business and that we continue to do, we provide strategic and MSP hosting. Our managed services have been in place for years and years. A lot of you out there maybe use us today on a monthly basis, a weekly basis in terms of managed services, and I'll get more into that in a little bit. And we also have a state-of-the-art data center that now we use as a hybrid connection to AWS. So as many of you found out, if you've moved to CSD, most of your hardware infrastructure goes away, but there are certain components that you still have left over, one being the enterprise connector, for example, but also you might have Exchange still on premise. You have some SQL Server on premise for other solutions, et cetera. We have customers now that utilize our data center to as a hybrid model to AWS with their CSD environment. And so that's a little bit about Tridex Systems. One of the things that, if you've seen my presentations before, that I've always focused on in your organizations, especially those of you directly related to the IT operations and even the business operations of the business, essentially this is what we see our customers' days look like. It's spread out. And so there are so many things in technology today and so much different than in the 90s. And basically you had VT220 terminals, green screens, you had a single server and they were dialed up and connected and you were off and running. Now you have email, you have cybersecurity, you have firewalls everywhere, and then all the applications that come out. Some are from Infor, some are from companies like Expertek, for example. And how do you manage all that? Well, at Tridex Systems, our value proposition at the end of the day, and really what our elevator pitch would be, and if you were going to go to your management teams or your ownership and tell them about Tridex, we're the organization that can complement and supplement your business. There's not enough people to hire into your organization to handle all of the technology challenges and needs today. And so that's really where we fit in. And so if you took that previous slide and organized it, essentially this is what you would see, right? You would have Infor solutions, you'd have third-party solutions, again, like CRM, which is very prevalent. E-commerce obviously is very prevalent, as Ken brought up, EDI, shipping, those sorts of things. And then you get over to your general IT, which takes an army of people nowadays to really manage. Even if you're on Office 365, you still have security and desktop services that you have to have. You have mobile devices You have phones and infrastructure around that for your organization. And so just the general IT proposition for a company today, you probably can't hire enough people for it. And so again, our value proposition is to complement and supplement in areas that we can help. Essentially what you get is you get a cost-effective group of people with 20, 30, 40, 50 years of knowledge around technology. And you fit us into these columns as best you need and what makes the most sense financially. And so that's really how we've built the business, and we've grown our company into what it is today, and we'll continue to grow with your help and your partnership. And so this is just something to think about when you think about how you could utilize Tridex Systems or another managed services partner that's in your area as you try to build your business out to handle all of these things. So why Tridex Systems? At the end of the day, right now, we have Infor CloudSuite Distribution Solution Consulting. You have access to our consultants who have many, many years of either working at the former software company of NextTrend Infor or working actually in a business running SX.e or CSD, if you will, for many years in different parts of the organization. Some were in IT, some were in operations, some were in sales. So we've got we have a very deep and broad expertise, if you will, of consultants that understand the business and also understand how the application fits to the business. Just recently, back in the first quarter, we implemented the largest CloudSuite distribution user to date. That was 600 plus users, over 100 TWL users, and actually in 4 countries. And so that actually only took about 12 months, 12 and a half months to implement. They were previously on an older version of GUI, of SX.e on-prem, and it was a success. And they're still learning and navigating their way through that. But that's one of the recent large implementations that our people were a part of and had success in completing. The other thing is around managing your business and CloudSuite Field Service Managed Services that I talked about. You know, this world is changing. Obviously, from a hardware perspective and infrastructure, a lot of that changes, but there's still connectivity needs. There's still printers on site. There's still handheld devices on site. And there's still application issues that you need help with and that you run into. And now with CloudSuite Distribution and Infor OS, the operating stack that really is the engine to this, you have integrations, you have EDI, and you have edge products that you need integrated. And as Ken talked about, the integration using Infor OS is a key component. But again, it doesn't necessarily take away the need for managed services. It probably enhances the need for a more focused managed services business that can help you around this technology stack and help you navigate. I mean, I think of Infor document management as one piece of the equation here for you guys. You know, it's a multi-purpose solution, right? It takes the place possibly of the Unformed solution or NowDocs or some of that, or maybe it's an additive to those. But it's also a document repository. And then if you add an Episoft or a Max Recall on top of that, you have multiple integrations. But I think of that solution alone and your ability now to change forms if you would like to do that. Well, if you don't have somebody really focused on that and they don't do it on a day-to-day or a week-to-week basis, you lose that skill set. And we see it all the time. And that's, again, where companies in the managed services, and very focused managed services around CloudSuite can help your businesses. Again, the Infor technology stack and some of the extensibility propositions and development. You know, within this, again, this technology stack, Infor CloudSuite Distribution, ISM, service and rental, Birst and Coleman and all those, you know, the consulting aspect of this and how to deploy all that is tough. And as I said previously when I opened this up, Infor has a great group of people on the consulting side of business. They have a finite group of people who can help around that. And that's why I would suggest, you know, when you go into this and you look at opportunities, the partner channel has great resources around consulting, extensibility, and all these tools that I think, again, for a lot of organizations can be hard to hire to, but also just to staff on a day-to-day or monthly basis. And again, if you get a group of people around you that can complement and supplement your business, I think it's more cost effective. And again, you're quicker to market. Even, you know, the challenges possibly using Infor and their finite amount of resources of getting to market. When you have a customer demand in place and you really need to react and produce something for that customer, what type of resources do you have internally, or do you need to go outside to find that? And now, again, using this commonality of the Infor OS technology stack, you're able to move quickly, but you need that skill set. And so again, some of the value that we provide. And as I talked about it, again, around the hybrid solution, we believe getting things off-prem and into data centers, into secure areas, if it's AWS or Google or some Microsoft Azure, some of those places, or even the private hosting data centers, we believe that it's a recommendation we would tell all of you to look at and take a look at. The need for hardware on premise, there might be a financial aspect to your business about that. But with the cybersecurity issues and the constant cyber attacks that exist today, and again, probably just the aging out of equipment, it's probably a great idea to take a look. Moving into CloudSuite Distribution, you've moved a large percentage, probably the most important percentage of your business or your business operating system, into a secured location like AWS. Having a third party or another data center, or even AWS for that matter, as another solution for all of your other needs, we would recommend you do. And so again, we provide a state-of-the-art data center with those tools that enable you to create a hybrid solution. It keeps you up on technology. It gives you an army of people to protect you from a security standpoint and just intrusion. And then it also gives you the comfort to know that your equipment's not going to age out, and it will constantly be updated and kept up with patches on the OS level and also on the hardware level. So again, we found that this hybrid solution has worked well, especially for those just getting into CSD and looking at just the enterprise connector, for example, and just some SQL Server needs that they have on premise. So with that, very quickly, that's a wrap up of why Tridex Systems and about us. If there's any questions and answers that we have right now, I'm happy to do that. And then also, if you need to get in touch with us, here's our information. And again, I think we're in the TUG website there as well with our information. And again, I just thank all of you today for participating. I can't see all of your lovely faces, but I'm assuming you're out there, and hopefully we can get together next year at the TUG conference. And I thank you again. You're on mute, Gloria. Sorry.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You did got me good. Thanks for the audible reminder. It happens so easily to all of us. I'm going to ask you, Matt, if you would be so kind as to please drop in your email address. I did put the company website if people want to explore that option a little earlier. So if you can drop that into text, that would be great. And also, I've got a couple questions for you. Number one, what are the biggest challenges that you've seen in companies migrating from SX.e to the cloud, to CSD?
Yeah, that's a good question. Ken could chime in here as well. I think what we see is the challenge of all the legacy code that has been put in place over the years to make your business unique or have a business differentiator. And so those modifications have to be reviewed. So your traditional mods that you always went through with these upgrades, again, they have to change and they have to be reviewed. And there's a constant with Infor in terms of how to get there. And so that's probably the biggest challenge that we've seen in that leap is, how do I take some of this custom stuff that's very important to my business and a differentiator and move that into a multi-tenant environment and still keep that value?
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. Figuring out what to do with all those modifications that have been accumulated over the years is certainly the biggest challenge.
When you guys say modifications, does that include Q&Ds also, or is that what you're referencing, the Q&Ds?
No, there are ways to do Q&Ds in CloudSuite. They're not Q&Ds, but there are ways to affect the same things. I think what Matt's really talking about is, people that have changes to the core product that don't easily translate into a multi-tenant environment. They change processes that's hard to replicate.
Yeah.
Understood. I do have another question for you, Matt, is how do we start our CSD project?
Yeah, that one always, people are so interested about going to CSD. And I think with the pricing that's available today, it's very appealing. And so, how do you do that? And what's the first area? I think, first of all, you get pricing from Infor and you figure out what your what your pricing and your model looks like over the next 5 to 7 years. You build a vision around when you think you could possibly have a target go live date. And then again, you start working with Infor on your current mods or your partners on your current mods, and then take a look at that roadmap and see what that entails and the cost that entails. So those are really the initial first steps. It's a lot of things that are not user related. It's what I call the back office, which again, are all those things that you've built throughout the years that now you somewhat have to expose to a larger audience, if you will, in a multi-tenant environment. And I think that, but also just looking at the company and getting an idea from the company about a target go live date and how you've built your contract with Infor and the runway that you have to get there.
Interesting. Thank you, Matt. I have a question for you, Ken. It says, what role does Expertek play within the Infor user community? Great question.
We have played a pretty extensive role over the years within the TUG organization. We're members of a number of the SIG groups, and we have presented at those and participated in roundtables on those. Mainly, specifically, a lot of it's been in e-commerce. We've been, there's a lot of interest in that. And in the early days when mobility was just getting off the ground, we were very involved in that as well, and really speaking to some of the things that needed to happen there. The other one I will mention, this is kind of key, is earlier I had put up that slide on the CSD workbench. Our CTO has done innumerable TUG presentations on that technology and how to develop more effectively in CloudSuite with the new technology. So, those are a few examples.
Excellent. Next question is for you, Matt. It says, how do we start our CSD project? And also, how long has it taken companies to migrate to the cloud?
Yeah, so again, talking about how do you start, if you've got your contract in place with Infor, then you have a period of time that you are able to do transitional support with Infor and get to the cloud. So if you work backwards from there, you really start taking a look at the things I discussed, which are the modifications, the integrations that you have to third parties or other Infor software. And then also, some things around even email integration, and if you're going to stay on site on premise with Exchange, or if you're moving to Office 365 or some of those things. So that back office work is the initial phase to that. And then we've seen, so it's interesting, that's a tough question in terms of how long does it take. As I told you, a very large customer went live within a 12.5-month time period. We recently did one in April that took 65 days,
Wow.
Much smaller footprint around CSD. So based on your company and the company's willingness, my recommendation in doing this for so many years is, if you get out past over a year and you creep into 18 months, that's probably about the limit, because you start running into user fatigue, you start running into project fatigue. And again, with the people that are on premise with SX.e or even Web UI today, the transition is much easier. The user transition is much easier. There's a navigation and a look and feel change, but I can tell all of you that your users are smarter than you think, and they do online banking and they do e-commerce shopping, so they understand the look and feel. But I believe that if you get out past a year, you start running into some fatigue, especially now with the business environment. So again, it's a company decision. We have recommendations around that. But we can move, and I'm sure Kid can, as fast as you would like. Your organization has that ability and resource available to do it. But I would exert as much pain as possible in the shortest amount of time in your organization to do a software implementation project.
I would agree. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Matt. Here's a question that populated for the both of you. So I'm going to toss this to you first, Ken, if I may. Do either of your companies offer optimization reviews?
In terms of productivity reviews and where you can improve use of software, we do in selected areas. We don't. I'm going to venture a guess that Tridex probably has a broader spectrum in terms of what they may offer in that. Obviously Matt will speak to that, but we do a lot of, we do a lot of warehouse systems, a lot of TWL implementations, and we go in very often and do productivity reviews with that product to see if you can get more use out of it. So that is certainly one area that we do quite a bit of.
And Matt, how about with Tridex?
We do, and it's either application, technology, or even around operations. And so we do try and provide that to the customers. Again, we sit down with them and figure out areas that they want to focus on, and if we are fit, and then we put a program around them to help that. So with our many years of application experience, we can help, again, at your counters, or your inside sales, or even your purchasing. And then again, we probably aren't as proficient at all around as TWL, but Ken and them do a great job around that. And so the technology is a different animal in terms of if you're looking to try to optimize your technology, which not a lot of people think about, but is probably something to look at today. We do a lot of that as well.
Wonderful. Wonderful to hear. Well, those are the questions that we've had populate thus far. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to wrap this up in a nice little bow. First of all, I want to thank you, Ken and Matt, for joining us today and sharing with members what each of you has to offer in terms of our digital audience. Now, with most of our webinars, as with this one, our presentation will be available to our members as well as our non-members within 1 to 2 business days. I'll be posting it on the forum, and also it will be available on our website under the education tab with our history of events. Now, our next webinar that's coming up is going to be this Friday, November 12th at 2 p.m. And as we bring our member-led CSD year-end procedures session to the forefront, it couldn't be more timely, right? With us creeping well into Q4. So watch your inbox for the invitation. And also that invitation link is live on our website now as well. So we'd like to invite those of you who are members of TUG to continue this conversation. I think I can speak openly on behalf of both Ken and Matt and say either that they or someone from their organizations are monitoring those forums for areas of solutions and help that they can bring to you. So make sure that you continue the discussion there. Now, for those of you who aren't members, I always say our forums are 24 karat gold. If you are not a member of TUG, I can say that we have literally tracked that within 10 minutes of posting, or many times less, someone that has a daily conundrum, a workaround, or an ERS to enhance the system is going to be getting a response back and a reaction from our membership of active users within 10 minutes or less. So if you're not a member yet, jump on over to www.theusergroup.org and join us today. You won't regret it. And on that note, I'd like to say, gentlemen, once again, thank you. And that's a wrap.
Thank you, Gloria.
Thank you, Gloria.
Thank you, everybody.